I'm going to jump into it now.
Okay.
This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and this is going to be a multiple guest interview with the folks from Infinite Wellness, Jenni Santana and Caprio. But right now, to start this off, I have Frank Jasper, who is better known as Shute from probably the best amateur wrestling movie ever made, Vision Quest. And now he is into, of course, nutrition, which we're going to talk about as well. But how are you doing today, Frank?
Hey, we're doing excellent. We finally got through the rains, the storms, the wind, the atmospheric rivers, the flooding out here in Carmel. And today it's sunny, and I'm looking forward to playing some tennis this weekend because everything's going to be drying out.
So tennis as opposed to amateur wrestling. Were you an actual amateur wrestler ever, or were you just an actor that got the role as Shute?
I wrestled in high school for 3 years. I did. My dad was actually a black belt in judo, so I started kind of in martial arts in 3rd and 4th grade. So we learned how to throw and roll and do some groundwork. So it kind of prepped me a little bit for wrestling. Then as a freshman, I got introduced to it, and I wrestled for 3 years. And then I didn't wrestle for about 3-4 years, and then I trained with the Pasco college wrestling team because of my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, had one of his classmates that would have a scholarship there, and at 192 he didn't have anybody to wrestle, so I got to wrestle with the team. I was working as an iron worker in the Tri-Cities at the time, and they had closed down the nuclear reactors for a bit, so I was just kind of hanging out collecting unemployment, and so it worked out perfectly that I got to train with the team. And the guy that I was working with, he ended up winning the NJCAA national title at 192.
That's pretty cool. And we have AJ that's going to join us in a second here. He's in his car, actually. He's a very busy man. AJ, of course, is a stem cell guy that you work with, and AJ's helped me get some stem cells that have helped me out. How are you doing today, AJ? If you can hear us. Can you hear us?
Hello, guys.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
So how did you and Frank get working together? I know AJ's a wrestling coach, so I'm sure you find this pretty cool.
Before we get started, I have a guest next to me that both of you guys both know very well. We're in the car driving in the pouring rain here in New Jersey. I have Mr. Ortiz.
Oh, hey. Cool.
Your ultrasound, both of your ultrasound guys. So
yeah.
Yeah. Don't say anything bad about Mr. Ortiz here.
We won't. Yeah, he's very good at that. So how did you two get hooked up, and what are you guys doing together now as joining your stem cells and regeneration therapy with his nutrition?
So I met Angelo several years ago on Facebook, and we made a connection then, and through the Shoot Shirts site, and it just started from there. And I started talking to him about, oh man, my knees have really been bothering me lately, and I'm having problems climbing up and down stairs. And he says, well, listen, I have a stem cell company I'm working with, and we can help you out. And so I made some time, and I got out to New Jersey. I got some treatments. It took me to the next level. I had pain on a daily basis. I wasn't able to play tennis like I used to at a competitive level, and lifting was kind of out of the question. So fast forward, after a couple of injections and several sub-Q injections, I can play tennis for 2-3 hours, no problem, climb up and down stairs. I'm starting to train again. And so I give all the credit there to Infinite Wellness and Angelo and his stem cells and exosomes, which are regenerative treatment protocols. So, and then my specialty is clinical nutrition for sports athletes, and it just combines the two to help the person get even better results from their stem cell treatments and other things that Angelo does in his clinic.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I lost you a little bit there because of the rain. I couldn't hear, but at the beginning. But I mean, that's how we originally linked up through Facebook. Actually, I think we originally met at the Beat the Streets Wrestling maybe years back. I don't know. We had the one on the Intrepid, or was it in Times Square? I can't remember.
I was at the one at Times Square, and they put up a platform in Libby Square in Times Square there.
That's right. That was like over 10 years ago. I would think now, probably, right?
That was quite a while ago.
Yeah. And obviously, same way Hannibal, like we spoke, obviously huge Vision Quest fan. One of my favorite movies growing up. Used to watch it with my mother, my brother, my father, our wrestling team before high school, and it's like one of those things, like, obviously I know, everyone cheers for the good guys in movies, but I mean, how many guys didn't want to see Shute kick, Loudon Swain's ass? I mean, I know I did at the end. I've watched the movie 100, maybe 1,000 times. And every time I hope it ends a little different, but we can't change. So maybe there'll be a Vision Quest 2, which we could see the ending change a little bit there.
Yeah, a Vision Quest 2 would be awesome. There's actually a fan on here that has a good question for the log that you had on your back when you were doing the stairs. Was that something you actually did ever as real training, or was that just for the movie?
No, I never did a log in real training. We did the carries, where we put a wrestler on our back and carried them up steps or up an incline. But that was specifically designed for the movie. The log was actually lightened to some degree, so it wasn't like the full weight of a log. But I did carry a log about 2 years ago into a gala event. We're raising money in Los Angeles for USA Wrestling, and it was auctioned off. Randy Couture bought it, and so all that money went into U.S. Wrestling. And thank you to Randy Couture, big supporter of wrestling, amateur wrestling, and collegiate wrestling. So got to throw one out there to him.
Tell him the story.
I see we have Jenni Santana on here now too. Just as I interrupt AJ quick.
I was going to say Hannibal and
hey, Jenny.
how you doing? Tell them the story about when they made you cut the weight for the movie, like what you weighed, and I thought that was pretty crazy when we first met. I think they told you had to lose 20 pounds, and if you went over the weight, they weren't going to use you or something along the story when you first got the part.
Yeah, so what AJ is referring to is that I got cast in the movie. I originally weighed 215 pounds. They were 2.5 weeks out from starting to film my character in different roles in the scenes in the movie. And so they asked me to really to cut weight so that I could look close to Matthew's size. And so I basically dropped 25 pounds in 2.5 weeks. And I was at 4% body fat, and I held that for the 10 weeks that we did the shooting in Spokane. So I sucked down hard, cut hard, and it's not the way I would want any wrestler to do that, but you can do it if you have to. But now I'm specializing in teaching athletes how to cut in a healthy way and maintain strength, speed, endurance, and not get completely depleted during the process.
Very good. And by the way, I have the DVD of Vision Quest.
Wow.
You're not even on the back. Were you disappointed in this?
I had no acting experience. I did not have an agent. I was lucky to get the role. It was like 1,000,000 to 1. Who knew? I was an athletic trainer at Eastern Washington. This wasn't something I had planned in my future at all. I was going to be a physical therapist, and I was going to be a bodybuilder. That was my trajectory at the time. So this was a completely shift over, and all I wanted to do was just do a good job, get paid so I could pay for my schooling and continue on with my life. So did I really care? No. But as an actor now, it's kind of like, well, that would have been nice, give me some recognition.
Did you expect that it was going to be this cult classic movie that pretty much all amateur wrestlers have seen 1,000,000 times?
I had no idea where this was going to go. And the fact that it's still around 37 years later, and there's just new generations that are getting exposed to the movie. And I'm always surprised when the parents say, like, hey, my kids just love this movie, and we're showing it right before districts or right before state. And I just got a text from Rulon Gardner that said that he watched it right before his gold medal match the one that he won in the Olympics, and that he watched it before every state match that he wrestled when he was younger.
Yeah, I believe that. And Jenni Santana, you're a world grappling champion, I think a couple times, as well as national grappling champion. Did you ever watch this movie as motivation, or what's your thoughts on it? And how are you connected with these two?
So the movie, I hear so much about this movie. Like people everywhere still like this is like the holy grail, like you said. So I guess it would kind of be similar to like pumping iron for bodybuilding. So any type of wrestling, it's always the Vision Quest movie. But I was lucky enough to meet AJ through a mutual friend, and I was able to go to his clinic and get stem cells in my knee because I was having issues with my knee, and so competing was becoming a little bit hard. So, and then Frank knows AJ, and Frank was able to help me with my nutrition as well. I haven't lost 25 pounds in 2 weeks, but I have lost 10 pounds in 4 days. But definitely when he said 4% body fat, I was like, oh, not close to that. But the two of them together, like coming up with a nutrition plan and able to just kind of get, Frank's great at what he does, and like seeing what your body is missing and what it needs, and kind of like if you're not digesting it properly. And so just get you functioning at full level. Like sometimes you don't even realize how bad you feel until you get on a regimen that is designed to help you. And then you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I could feel this good and perform at this good of a quality. So I'd be very lucky to have them both in my life.
So you guys are based in Las Vegas now, and I guess, Frank, you kind of consult via online for that practice, and then for the New Jersey one, you can probably do some in-person consults as well.
I've done both. I've been in the clinic there. The clinic in Vegas is a beautiful space. I was there on a couple weeks ago on a Monday, and was working in the clinic with side by side with Jenni and the rest of the gang. And so I got to do it in person. Most of the time I'm doing Zoom or just audio across the country. Same thing out in Vegas or out in New Jersey. I've been out there once, but I plan to make another trip out there and maybe do some in person, but I'm via Zoom and Google Chat and meetings and stuff like that. So far, that's what I've been doing to be able to cover both the clinics nutritionally.
So as far as cutting weight for any amateur wrestlers watching this, obviously 25 pounds in 2 weeks is dangerous, as one of the fans points out. What are some of the suggestions you make for both MMA fighters or anyone in combat sports?
So this is something that's new that I've been working with, and I've got a guy that I've been working with for the last 3 years. He's in Nice right now. He's going to be wrestling a major competition, international competition there. And what we've worked through is that we've changed the concept of what most athletes have been doing for the last years. I don't know how many years. It's all about, carb loading prior to matches. It's all about starving themselves and dehydrating themselves. And so we've pretty much flipped that completely, because we are more focused on being a fat adapted athlete, not in ketosis all the time, but in and out of ketosis. And what happens is that you have this 30 to 40,000 calories that you have at your disposal to be used for energy if you know how, or if the body is understanding how to utilize and break down fat for energy. But if you always are doing carbohydrates and you're carb loading, what happens is you'll spike and you'll crash. The byproducts are toxic that your body has to process. Sugars that, anything that breaks down from carbohydrates are basically sugars. Sugars have a tendency to feed bacteria and viruses, suppress your immune system, dysregulate your hormones, and set you up for injury, which is a whole thing I can tell you about. So, and the byproducts are toxic, so your body has to process it. So why wouldn't we be looking at this other mode or a pathway of energy, the keto pathway, fat adapted pathway? It burns very clean. You don't have spikes and crashes. The byproducts are not toxic, et cetera, et cetera. So there's some really health benefits, but most people have been taught the other pathway is the only way to energy. And if you look at Nick Sirianno, there's a kid I've been working with for over 3 years. He killed it at the Big Tens last year. He was an NCAA champion, and he's over in Nice now wrestling. And I see big things in his future. I see nothing but just continued success for him.
AJ, there was a fan on here asking what stem cells could do for arthritis in the knees. Jennifer might be able to answer that one too.
AJ, to the question that they had about the osteoarthritis.
Yeah. What we would do is we use 2 different main products. Can you guys hear me first and foremost? I'm sorry, it's raining pretty hard here in Jersey. You guys can hear me all right?
Yes.
We have 2 products. One's called VitaCell, one's called Cytocell. One's a stem cell, one's an exosome. The stem cell is a Wharton's jelly product derived from the umbilical cord of C-section births. Obviously, the cord's tested 100 different ways. We have a list of tests that has to go through in order to use it. And then the exosomes are a derivative of the stem cell. So, for instance, there's 1,000 exosomes in each stem cell. Exosomes are more geared towards attacking inflammation. To attack what you just mentioned, we'd probably use a combination of a Wharton's jelly 1 cc product known as the VitaCell, along with the a 1 cc product of the exosome, a direct injection into the joint.
Very good. Thanks for that info. And for anyone that hasn't seen Frank with the log, there's a screenshot from Vision Quest. And how was it working with the cast for that movie and doing the wrestling scene?
Hey, listen, it was a top level project, and Harold Becker was at the helm. What an amazing director. He's passed, unfortunately. But it was just such a cool experience for me. I'd never been on a movie set, and the actors were, really professional. I didn't actually spend hardly any time with the actors, especially Matthew. I actually never spoke with him. The only time I had any interaction with Matthew was on the set, and we were doing lines, in front of the camera, and we didn't do any rehearsals. So it was all what we brought to that moment. But it was just, like I said, it was just an incredible experience. I just can't tell you how fun it was, especially when we did the final match and there was over 1,500 extras. So it actually felt very realistic to some degree. Everybody was screaming and yelling, and it's like, you've got to come out with your best stuff and make it look as real as possible.
Was it actually recorded in Washington?
So we shot for 10 weeks, most of it around Spokane area. One of the log scene was in Joe Albi Stadium. A lot of the schools we used were local schools. All the wrestlers that you see that are in Matthew's team are all local guys, local wrestlers, some of them state champions. It's just packed full of local wrestlers that got to be in this film as well. So then after 10 weeks, 3 months went by, and then we shot 2 scenes in LA. And then another 3 months went by, and then we flew back. I flew back to LA again and shot another scene for another week. So it mostly was shot in Spokane area, and then some of it was shot in LA.
Here's a question that one of you could probably answer. Is Servitil a good product to boost HGH levels?
We don't usually use it. We use a bunch of different things. Samarilin is one of them. Ipamorelin. There's a couple other peptides and things we'll use. We haven't used that in our clinic yet. We have a list of different peptides and things that we use. I don't know, Hannibal, maybe we can send it, Jenny, or I can send you a list if you want to publish maybe to some of these guys some of the different peptides that we're using to help increase HGH.
Yeah, I've heard also recently guys like Shale Sonnen and Kevin Nash saying they've had to go out of the country to places like Colombia to get certain types of stem cells that at one time weren't available in the U.S. Is the U.S. allowing more types now that have not been in the past?
It was all like obviously regulated, and like there was obviously, like stuff in Mexico, Colombia, Belize was much stronger at the time. The company that we use now, Vitacell Biologics, they have a headquarters in Naples, Florida, as well as Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, for instance, their Exosome product, we have test results where 10 different manufacturers were tested, and their product was the cleanest and the highest doses of live cells per. So, I mean, I can't speak as far as what our cell count is as compared to like Belize and Colombia, but it's got to be close to what we're using. I mean, we're blowing out the lab that we use is blowing out everybody else in the country. There's 10 manufacturers. I think it's actually 12 manufacturers allowed to produce products in the U.S. and the company we use is by far the best.
And Jennifer, how has Frank helped you directly? I know you're still grappling here and there. I don't know if you're still wrestling or not, but you're still an athlete that's active. How has both of the stem cells and Frank's nutrition helped you over the past year or so?
Well, the nutrition has helped me definitely feel better and have more energy and recover better. Also, my weight, I'm pretty much literally at the weight that I compete at now. So I've had a lot of stress having to cut weight before, or even missing weight a few times, at least one time. So definitely following Frank's, nutrition plan and taking the supplements, it's gotten my body where it needs to be to function properly and to function at its option. And so you got to take care of yourself. There was a point I could not walk my knee. It was literally 3 times the size of the other one. I had 0 left in treatment. We scanned it a few weeks ago, and on the ultrasound, the tech measure curve. I didn't have it before. So my leg is 99.9% flexibility that I have. I just have to do any damage, like
Hey, Jenny, you're cutting out really bad. Are you cutting out there in Hannibal's?
Yeah.
Is there something else you can do to get better
her
connection?
service isn't the best in her office where she's at.
Yeah.
So her service isn't the best.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Now,
but the stem cells made the world of difference to be able to, one, let me walk without being in pain, and then two, still compete competitively and train as much as I like to. Without having surgery, no downtime.
Didn't you just get a black belt? You got to your next level in black belt, Jenny? Didn't I just see that recently?
I think we lost her, but
yeah,
I think she did.
She texted me. She's going to try to get back on. I know she just said the service in her office where she isn't that great.
Frank, as far as the fasting now, I hear whereas about a decade or two ago, people were saying multiple small meals are better, but now we're hearing fasting as long as possible is better for letting the organs recover and weight loss. Maybe not for an athlete, but
no, for an athlete. No, absolutely for an athlete. Matter of fact, we use that technique with Nick a lot. He does intermittent fasting. Sometimes he'll fast 24 hours. Sometimes he'll go 48. It's a very powerful way to give your body just unload all of the challenges that it has digestively, etc., processing. And if you do it in a very smart way, then you can do this. I don't recommend it a lot for high school athletes that are in the growing phases as much. You have to really limit that, but it's a beautiful thing for somebody that is trying to cut weight. And then we come in with all this other support that we do nutritionally with ketone esters and marine-based plasma and H2, drops in the water and electrolytes that are specialized that are marine-based plasma, etc.
So this is top level stuff. Who are some of the athletes that you guys are working with? I always see the pictures of these super athletes in the office there from AJ, but Frank, both of you, who are some of the guys you're working with now and girls?
I mean, obviously, Yeah, no, Frank, you want to go or you want to?
No, he's got so many. I'm going to let him start.
I mean, obviously, Frank's the biggest. He's the best bad guy in movie history here. So, actually, it's either him or his good friend, James Jude Courtney, Michael Myers. They're both great bad guys. We like all the bad guys in our office, you know. I mean, everybody they can stick with the good guys. We want the bad guys. But we have those two guys. We work with a lot of the retired NFL players. Me being a New York Jets fan, we live very close to MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. So we treat Jets legends like Tony Richardson, Wesley Walker. We've treated pretty much every ECW great. Sandman, Sabu, RVD, Francine. Braun Strowman went to us the week before he went back to WWE. We treated him. He's always in contact. Great guy. I know he did like a little recording, I think, Hannibal a couple of months ago, didn't we? Get something.
Yeah, I think we posted that.
Yeah.
Enzo too. Enzo, I've
Enzo's
seen
a great. Enzo calls me and texts me every day. He's a character and a half. He's a great guy. He loves coming in the office for entertainment. He's like, it's one of the few places where he's speechless. Like, he comes in, he has such a great time. He's like, I don't need to do any talking. I have fun just coming in to hang out. Obviously, we've had Gil Birmingham from Yellowstone. He's been out to the Vegas location. Got to spend some time with us. Jenny, I know her uncles were big fans, so we all came out the same day. We had a good time with him. Frank and I all came out to Vegas together, and Wesley Walker from the Jets. We had a great time that week with everybody in the office.
And you, Frank, I know you have some stars that you work with as well.
Yeah, I some people I can mention, some people I can't, but it just I've got everything from like 14-year-olds in high school that I'm working with to collegiate athletes that I'm working with that are going to be going for the World Cup as well. And I've worked with older masters, elite athletes as well that just wrestled in the U.S. Open and just won his weight division there, and then went over to Poland and won the weight division over there in his weight division. So it's the nutrition is not designed for just one age group. It's designed that I can meet their needs, because everybody is as different inside as they are outside. And so if you look at all four of us, we have very different exteriors, and we're going to have very different nutritional needs. And the key is not just the product that you have to get right, but you have to get the dose right. And that's where I feel like that's one of my specialties is we nail down not just the product that, for the deficiency the body's dealing with, but we nail down the dose and we monitor it, because the body needs to change over the course of their training.
And Frank, last nutrition question for you here, because I know you got to go soon. AJ and Jenny might be able to help with this one too, but this guy has a habit of getting up to eat after he's gone to bed, which I have to say I've done that a bunch of times too. What's some advice on breaking that habit? Because obviously that breaks the fast and is not a good thing.
Well, there's a few things you can do. Sometimes that waking up could be the brain is looking for energy. So just have 2 ounces of turkey before you go to bed. That's one thing you can do. Some people do almond butter, or some people say they do peanut butter, but I'm not a big peanut butter fan. So I get better choice is an almond butter. Just because there's just too many, mycotoxins in any kind of peanut butter. So I shy away from that. But you can do a little bit of protein right before you go to bed, give the brain something to deal with, to utilize to get you through the night. Make sure you're winding down an hour before you go to bed. Get away from any kind of light stimulation, things of that nature. I have a product that I take, it's a nutritional product to help down-regulate and stop the mind from overworking, because if your mind's working, then it can wake you up as well. So it's what do you call it's just ash and minerals primarily, but it's got some other things in it. It's a standard process product. These are standard process products that I use and have used for 27 plus years, and they're whole food nutrition. That's where I like to kind of stay, is in a whole food concept.
Jennifer, you're looking beautiful now that you're out of the dark. Where can we follow you? I'm sorry we haven't had a lot of chance to talk to you, but are you still wrestling?
That's
And where
okay.
can we follow you? And where can promoters book you if they want to book you for wrestling?
Yeah, I'm still training, still wrestling, still doing jujitsu. You can follow me on Instagram at Jenni_Santana_. You can send me a message and yeah, we can connect that way.
AJ, there's been a few questions here. Where can they find your locations, and how can they reach out to you if they want some stem cells or exosomes? Well, maybe Frank could answer that one because he seems to have disappeared.
Well,
Jenny, either one of you.
have Jenny because she's got the location in Las Vegas, and
Yeah,
that's on the
so-
West Coast. It's probably the best place to reach out to.
Yeah, for sure. Vegas. We are in the heart of Las Vegas. It's very easy to get to. If anyone's from the area, we're literally across from IKEA, which everyone knows where that is in the city because there's only one. But yeah, stem cells, exomes, hormone replacement, nutrition plans. We're even doing a lot of aesthetics. We have some string facelifts planned for next week. So pretty exciting stuff. A lot of hair restoration people are interested in from COVID. That kind of took a toll on people. So a lot of different things that we're going to be offering. The clinic's great. Come check it out. That's the one in Las Vegas. And then there's also one in New Jersey in Rutherford. Also check that one out. So we've got the whole country covered from East Coast to West Coast.
Excellent. And Frank, where can people learn more about you?
So they can reach out to me on Messenger on Facebook at shootshirts.com. Or at shoot@shootshirts.com is the email. Instagram is visionquest_shoot85, I think. I'm the worst with all these connections. And so just Facebook as well. I have a couple accounts on there, so you can connect me, messenger me, DM me, and we'll get you connected. We can use Jenny's clinic there for people who have insurance that we can run their insurance on for the clinical nutrition aspect. That's a big help for a lot of people. So just reach out to her and then AJ as well, because he clears everybody so that you can get taken care of.
Yeah, we have websites, and our links to the websites are on the Instagram account. So the New Jersey office is Integrated Pain Management, and then the Las Vegas one is Infinite Wellness LV on Instagram.
AJ, we lost you there for a second, but Jenny gave all your information. Is there anything
pro.
else you want to say?
She's a pro. That's why we have her. No, like I said, it's all crazy. Like you put together on the message before that we were all together a year ago today, and now look at we have a location opening up here. And one of the things I always say, like which obviously opening out in Las Vegas, it's across the country for us. But one of the things that impressed me most about Jenny is, like, Hannibal, you and I are similar. Like, someone says, hey, take this, it's going to make you bigger and stronger. We're going to take it. Take this, it's going to make you do better. We're going to take it. Take this, like when you gave Jenny my number, we were on the phone 2-3 weeks before she came out. She's asking questions about the stem cells. Like, we were bullshitting about it last night, asking questions how it's going to help, like what it's going to do to her body, recovery, that kind of thing. And I never, you saw when you were in our office, we had 90% probably male athletes we were training. And I was very impressed, especially from her end, the questions she was asking and wanting to know thing. I was like, we were saying this would be a good partner to work with. Like, she cares about not only herself, but she cares about everybody else. And, like I said, it's good to have people like that, on your team. We both big fans of her, but like I said, that was honestly the first thing that made me think, I'm like, she'd be a good partner. Like, she really cares about how what this is doing to you, like how it's helping you. The same way Frank's did with nutrition, she was like this with stem cells, and I just thought it was a great partnership for us all to get going.
Yeah, she's one of the nicest people in wrestling.
Now I'm a black belt.
For wrestling. Oh yeah,
you missed that before.
We were asking about that. You're a black belt now, right?
Yeah. So exciting. I'm not going to say it's from the stem cells, but
All right. So AJ, are you going to bring Frank and Jenny to your the high school where you coach and have them have like a grappling match or something on video.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would get a lot of hits.
Well, it's funny. The girl who runs the girls wrestling for the state of New Jersey is like, dude, whenever your girl Jenny from Vegas comes out here, she's coming to do a clinic for the girls wrestlers, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll let her know. I know. Did you get a chance to meet Rachel, Jenny, when you were here? She helps us out.
I don't think so.
She runs the girls wrestling for New Jersey Wrestling, and she all the time said, dude, I'd love to have her.
Yeah, that'd
on
be
there.
great.
Her, have her background. Same thing like everybody like you got to get your man when your man Frank comes out here to visit Jersey. I mean, he was very, very in high demand when he was here. We went to go eat at a steakhouse, and it just tells you how passionate of a state New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio are the power states in wrestling. We went to the steakhouse. Frank got recognized 4 times in this little hole-in-the-wall steakhouse in New Jersey that we love.
Wow.
In fact, we couldn't get past the bar when a guy threw 100 down to buy everybody drinks, and then we're sitting. Frank goes to the bathroom. Hey, come over here. Is that Shute from Vision Quest? It was pretty funny how many people recognize him. But both are in high demand when they come visit New Jersey. That's for sure.
And I know Frank is really busy and he's got to go soon. So I'll let Frank close this off. Thank you to all 3 of you for joining us and sharing all this information. I'd highly recommend the stem cells from my personal experience, which I got from AJ's clinic.
Well, thanks for having us on, Hannibal. It was
it was
great to come on. Love your attitude. Love what you stand for.
Are you waiting to be let in?
Oh, we're lucky to have. We're lucky.
I'm freezing.
All around the country, but my guy Ortiz here, I got to give Ortiz a shout out. He's the greatest ultrasound guy in the business, and I know the 3 of you have all had procedures done by him. He's got a sweet voice, but he's even sweeter with the ultrasound machine. That's for sure.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. And AJ, you're one of the nicest guys I've ever met. You and your whole family have great hospitality. So I'd highly recommend all 3 of these people to work with. The links are in the description. And thank you very much.
Thank you
for watching
Great
the Hannibal
talking with
TV.
everybody.
Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of